Hey y'all, so I am back with another nail tutorial, and if you have watched my recent videos, then you know that these hands belong to Rita, and these are the nails that we did in my previous vlog. So she ended up coming in just on the spur of the moment that day, so I took her nails off. I started by clipping them down, and now I'm coming in with this extra coarse tornado bit, and I'm just going to get them down as thin as I can. Once I do that, she's going to soak for 10 minutes and then she's going to come out. I'm going to do my natural nail prep and then I'm going to apply her tips. She always gets stiletto, so I applied my stiletto tips from Amazon, got them into shape, and now she's ready for application. So once I have all of that done, I'm going to go in and use my Mia Secret dehydrator. Then once I have that done, I'm going to come in and prime, and I always prime twice, and that one is also from Mia Secret. So to start off this design, I'm going to be doing a French, and this set is really, it doesn't take a lot to achieve. It's a very easy, simple set, but it has so many different, I guess, variations to it, so many different little things you add in that it really makes this set pop. So my acrylic base is going to be just a very basic base, but then once I get done and I add all of these little bits to it, it's going to be so cute. So for this set, I'm only going to be using two colors. Now, this first color that I'm using is from Valentino. I believe it is called Butterlicious, and this is a very beautiful color. I seem to reach for it a lot. Now, this is a very cool tone color. It has that nude that is just very, very cool, but it also has kind of like a milky white to it. So I love it. Anytime that someone asks for that kind of cool tone nude set, I always grab this one. Now I'm just going to go in and I'm going to start creating a French. Now for this set, I believe it only has 2 Frenches per hand, and I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Normally I would create the French, create my reverse nail bed, and then let it dry and then go back and file it into shape just to make those edges sharp. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go in at the end on top and add a design. So anytime that I know I'm going to really just be covering something up, I'm not going to go and do that extra step because really I'm just doing more work that's not necessary. So for that, I'm just going to build it and move on. Don't care for designer, got her own drip. Don't care for the phones, got her own whip. So for the other nails that are not going to be French, they are just going to be ombres. Now, anytime that I'm doing ombres, I like to apply a thin, clear base first, and that just helps. I feel like it just gives you a smooth surface underneath. You don't want any inconsistency that you can get either from the natural nail or from where the tip meets the natural nail. So I always add a clear base. Now I'm coming in with my second color, and this is from Young Nails. I believe it's Earth, and it's just a much darker nude, but it's still a cool tone nude. So anytime that I kind of do cheetah, because that's kind of the design that we're going for towards the end, I always like to use these muted cool tone nudes. I think they just look best when it comes to cheetah. So for my ombres, I always basically apply them the same way. I start at the center of the nail and I apply that bead through the tip. Now I choose to do it like that. I just feel like it's easier. It's always easier when you split things up and you do things in sections, especially for a ombre. You really want to be able to create that fade. Now, like I said, these colors are both cool tone, and I honestly thought that this Young Nails color was going to be darker than it was. You have to be careful when you're going for a look like this, especially when it comes to the ombre and French, because you're going to be bumping these colors right up against each other, and you don't want them just to kind of bleed together. You still want to be able to see the distinct difference within the colors. So looking back at this, I wish I would have had a color that was maybe just 2 shades darker, and it would have been perfect. They still came out really cute, but I still kind of felt like they were so close. They were still too close in color for me. So that's one thing I would do different from this set. So like I said, these ones are going to be ombres. I'm going to go in, and every nail that is an ombre, I'm going to apply that tip color first. This is actually a part of my process too when it comes to ombre. I apply the first color and I completely let that dry. You don't want to come in with the next color and then just have them bleed into each other. So that's why I do it like this. So I got the ring finger done, I got the middle finger done, and then I also did the thumb. Now I'm going to come back and fill in that French. And like I said, I did not foul this nail bed. I'm just going to go in and apply my color. And since I did not foul that, when I apply this color, I'm going to do it very neat and clean. I pretty much always do that when it comes to the French, but especially since I don't have the added protection of a sharp reverse bed, I'm going to make sure that I apply it clean. So like I said, this color is from Young Nails, and pretty much every nude color that I have used from them is a very smooth powder. Now this one though, on this day we had it super cold in the room, so it was taking a little while to set up. So that's why you see me just really smoothing it out and trying to get it built up. Now I'm coming in and just adding a little bit on the sides as need be, and just making sure that I'm really filling up that tip with that color. So now I'm coming back to my ombre nail, and I'm going to take that bead, place it at the center of the nail. I'm going to pat out the back area, and then I'm going to walk that bead down. And once I have it down, I'm going to blend out the bottom portion of that bead. You want to make sure that you have your beads proportioned right. So I blended out the back area so that my cuticle bead will blend into that. And then I walked it down so I can keep the opaqueness through the center of that bead. And then I blended the bottom portion of that bead so it could blend and feather through my first bead, which was that dark earth from Young Nails. So that's basically the process of blending a bead. So I came in next with my cuticle bead, and as you can see, I just placed that bead and then blended it through to that middle bead. So I'm looking at the nail, and I noticed I brought that nude color down a little bit too much towards my tip, and it took away some of my darker color. So I'm going to come in and I'm just going to take a small bead and add a little bit more of that and blend it through the tip. Now I'm doing this only because I know I'm going to be placing my design over that darker color, and I want more of that than the Butterlicious. I want my design to be able to show through. So that's why I'm adding this extra bead. Now you can also do this if you feel like your blend isn't feathered out enough. If you want to make your blend a little bit more perfect, you can always go in and add a small bead. So I'm just going to go to the middle finger, and I'm going to also finish that one off. So now I'm coming back to the ring finger. Like I said, this is going to be my second French. So I'm just going to apply that starting at the cuticle area, pointing her finger down. That is really going to help me just get that bead into shape. And then once it starts flowing down evenly, I can just really carve it out and make sure that I'm getting an almond shape. And you can see there I took off a little bit. I had too much, so I just scraped that off and continue just making that into that almond shape. Once I have that done, I'm going to go in and apply that Young Nails color. And like I said, I'm just going to start at the tip, and then I'm going to walk that bead back, walk it up the sides of that nail bed, and really just start shaping it on the tip, keeping it clean from anything on the nail bed. And then if I have to, I'll go in and add some on the sides. So once I have all of my application done, I did go in and I capped everything with clear. Now I'm coming for my finish filing, and I have already taken my hand file and I have sharpened up the stiletto shape, so I've done the perimeter. And now I'm coming in with my e-file and I'm using my sanding band just to smooth out the body. I love the sanding band because it smooths out the body, but it also flushes out the cuticle area. So here are the nails finally finished. They have a nice sharp shape. Like I said, I love a sharp stiletto. So now we're going to go right into design. And for this, I'm going to be doing Cheetah Print. So to achieve that, I could just go in and freehand it. But since I'm doing the whole set cheetah, I really want them to be consistent in how they look. So I'm going to use my stamping plate. Here, y'all, what she's doing is showing me how sharp these stilettos are. Even one hand was a little bit sharper, so she was like, girl, I'm gonna have to be extra careful with these. And that's what I mean, y'all. I have to give out disclaimers for these stilettos. They are no joke. So I'm coming in and I'm going to start doing my stamping. Now the stamping plate is from Young Nails and the polish in the stamper is from Clear Jelly Stamper. Now I promise y'all, my next video is going to be on stamping because you see I use it so much and it's such a helpful tool if you have something you want to do and you really don't have the freehand ability to do it. So I love stamping. So don't worry, that video is coming next. Now I'm going in and I ran my clear jelly across the stamping plate, and then I took my card and I just took off some of it that I didn't want. So this was the French nail, so I really just carved out the inner piece of that stamping so it wouldn't get on the nail bed. So before moving on, you can see I took my lint roller and I cleaned off my clear jelly stamper, and now I'm coming in and I'm cleaning off the stamping plate with acetone, and then I just repeat all of this process. So I'll go in, apply my color, and this is a stamping polish. When it comes to stamping, you want to have a stamping polish. Regular polish does not work, and that's because it dries just too quickly. So this polish, it gives you a little bit of time to, place it, roll it, and then stamp it, but it's still very brief. These polishes do dry pretty fast, so that's one thing about stamping. You have to be quick. Now, like I said, I'm going to be doing all of the nails with Cheetah Print, and when you're doing stamping, it can become very, I don't know how to put it, but you just have to do these steps over and over and over again. Sometimes I can get 2 stamps out of one application, I guess, if I move fast enough. So it's all about how you move. Now I'm coming in and I'm just going to fill in some of that cheetah print, and I'm just taking another stamping polish and I'm taking a nail art detailer brush and I'm just filling it in. When you're doing this, you want to be very thin with your application. You don't want it to be real thick, because then it's going to be an inconsistency when you apply your top coat. It's not going to be smooth. So that's why I'm using the detailer brush and applying it this way. And you could also use gel polish or paint gel, but I like to use this because it dries really fast. So my process was to stamp all of the nails with the cheetah print, and now I'm coming in and I'm going to fill in all of them with this other brown color. And like for most nail art, everything just comes down to your preference. When I'm filling in these spots, I don't fill in all of them, not at all. I pretty much just space it out, and that's really how I do all of my cheetah. Even if I was just freehanding it and I was going in and filling it in, that's how I would do it. I wouldn't fill in all of them. I feel like when it comes to certain types of nail art, like less is more. So it's all just about how you like it as the nail tech. So now that I have all of that done, I'm going to come in and just start cleaning up any mistakes, any polish that has gotten onto her skin. And I'm using acetone, and I'm just taking my nail art brush and I dip it into the acetone, dip it on my paper towel so it's not flooding, and then I come in and I clean up. Now, especially see here right where my French is at, I really do not want any on the nail bed. So that's why I did that. Now I'm coming in and I'm going to be adding these water decal butterflies, and these butterflies I got from Amazon. You can go there and find them, and I really need to get me some more because I use these so much, and I actually really like these. I like stickers too, but I really like the decals for some reason. They kind of just lay flat and blend right into the nail. So here I have just some tap water, and I place my little butterflies in there. Now I'm just fishing one out, and I'm just peeling back that butterfly from the paper. And when you peel it back, you want to make sure that you're peeling it like straight. You don't want it to curl up on you at all. So once I place it on the finger and I start positioning it, I take a lint-free wipe and I really just dab off any extra water that is still on the nail. And while I'm dabbing it off, I'm also smoothing it out. So I'm just going to go in and apply the butterflies on all of the ombre nails. So once I have all of the butterflies done, I'm going to come in for the final step, and that is to carve out my French area. Now in doing this, I should have capped the nails first because the first color I went and applied was the wrong color. So I ended up having to remove that, and in doing so, I almost removed my cheetah print. Now, my cheetah print, like I said, was done with regular polish, so that can be removed with acetone, right? If it was gel polish, I wouldn't have had to worry about it. But since it was, I should have went in and capped it, knowing that I was still going to have to come back and add more art. So that's my little mistake that I made. Now, this little carve out was harder than what it looks. Now I'm coming in with the correct color, which is from Young Nails. And when I say correct color, I mean matching the butterflies. So I ended up doing this. I had to go in, clean it up, make sure that it was right, and then I finally got it done. So once I did have all of these done, I went in and I capped everything twice, made sure that those butterflies were really sealed in there, and she was all done. So that is finally it for this set. A really simple base, but like I said, with all of the added touches, it made it look so cute. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, please do so. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and I will see y'all in another video. Bye.